The grenade's blast tore through the humid Georgia night like a predator's scream, flipping Alex's Humvee into a twisted heap of metal and regret. Dust choked the air as he clawed free from the wreckage, his pulse hammering not just from the adrenaline, but from the stranger's hands, strong, steady, gripping his shoulders, pulling him into the flickering glow of emergency lights. Those eyes, dark and unyielding, locked onto his with an intensity that whispered secrets no barracks whisper could contain, and in that heartbeat, Alex felt the walls of his armored life crack open. Fort Benning sprawled under a sky heavy with summer storm clouds, a labyrinth of drill fields, obstacle courses, and echoing barracks where young recruits like Alex Rivera forged themselves into soldiers. At 24, Alex had enlisted to escape the suffocating grip of his Texas hometown, where his father's belt and his mother's silent prayers had beaten any hint of softness out of him long before basic training could try. He was good at this life, top marks in marksmanship, unflinching under fire during simulations, the kind of private who volunteered for extra patrols just to avoid the quiet hours when doubts crept in like fog off the Chattahoochee River. But that night, during a routine night-op exercise gone sideways due to a faulty explosive prop, everything shifted. The medic's name was Jordan Hale, a first lieutenant from Seattle with a reputation for patching up egos as deftly as wounds. Jordan had been stateside for 6 months after a tour in Syria, his transfer to Benning a reward for surviving an ambush that left his unit halved. He moved through the chaos with the calm of someone who'd danced with death too many times, his frame lean but solid under the standard-issue fatigues, his voice a low rumble that cut through the pandemonium. "Stay with me, Rivera," he'd said, his fingers lingering on Alex's pulse point a fraction too long, as if mapping more than just vital signs. Alex had nodded, mute, his skin buzzing from the contact, a forbidden current that no amount of push-ups could sweat out. By dawn, the incident was chalked up to equipment failure, and Alex found himself in the infirmary, ribs taped and pride bruised. Jordan checked on him twice that day, once with a clipboard and once without, the second time carrying 2 steaming mugs of Chow Hall coffee that tasted like regret and revelation. "You were lucky," Jordan said, settling into the chair beside the cot, his legs stretched out like he owned the space. "Most guys in your spot would have frozen. You didn't." Alex shrugged, wincing at the pull in his side. "Freezing's not an option. Not out there." He took a sip, the bitterness grounding him, but his gaze kept drifting to Jordan's hands, calloused from more than scalpels, veins mapping stories Alex suddenly ached to read. It was stupid, this pull, like gravity betraying a parachute. He'd buried his attractions deep since high school, when a fumbling kiss behind the bleachers with his best friend ended in a punch and a promise never to speak of it again. The army was supposed to be his salvation, a place where discipline drowned out desire. But Jordan's presence was a live wire, humming just beneath the surface. They talked for an hour that first time, skirting the edges of safe topics. The relentless Georgia humidity that turned boots into saunas, the absurdity of MREs pretending to be meals, the way Benning's red clay stained everything it touched. Jordan shared a story about a Syrian sunset that painted the desert gold, his voice softening on the details, and Alex found himself leaning in, caught in the rhythm of it. When Jordan stood to leave, clapping Alex's good shoulder with a grin that crinkled the corners of his eyes, something unspoken passed between them, a thread, fragile and electric. Word spread fast in a post like Benning. By evening formation, Alex's scrape was legend, the hero private, who dragged his gunner clear before the secondary blast. Sergeant Reyes, a barrel-chested vet with a mustache like a broom bristle, slapped Alex's back hard enough to reopen the ache. "Rivera, you move like you've got 9 lives. Keep it up, and you'll make corporal before Christmas." The praise landed hollow. Alex's mind replayed Jordan's touch, the way his thumb had brushed Alex's collarbone while adjusting the 4. It was nothing, he told himself. Medics touched everyone, but the lie tasted like ash. That night, in the dim glow of his bunk, Alex lay awake listening to the symphony of snores and creaks. Across the bay, Ramirez muttered in his sleep about his girl back in L.A., a ritual that usually lulled Alex into uneasy rest. Tonight, it amplified the storm in his chest. He thought of his sister Maria's last letter, tucked under his mattress. Poppy's still praying for you, Mijo. Come home straight. The word twisted like a knife. Straight. As if his heart could be ironed flat by faith or force. Jordan's face flickered in his mind, unbidden, and Alex pressed his palm to his eyes, willing the image away. But it lingered, a ghost in the machine of his resolve. The next morning brought rain, sheets of it slamming the earth like judgment. Alex reported for light duty, relegated to inventory in the supply depot, a humid warehouse smelling of oil and old canvas. He was cataloging ammo crates when Jordan appeared in the doorway, rain dripping from his poncho, a folder under one arm. Heard you drew the short straw? Figured you could use company that doesn't involve counting bullets. Alex straightened, heat flooding his face despite the chill. Sir, Lieutenant. I'm good. Really. The sir felt clumsy on his tongue, a barrier he both needed and resented. Jordan waved it off, stepping inside and shaking off the wet like a dog. Drop the sir when it's just us, Alex. Makes me feel ancient. He was only 28, but the lines around his eyes spoke of miles beyond years. They fell into easy rhythm, Jordan helping sort crates while trading barbs about the Army's love for paperwork. It's like they think if we drown in forms, we'll forget we're human, Jordan quipped, his laugh a rare, unguarded sound that echoed off the metal walls. As the rain drummed on, conversation deepened. Jordan spoke of Seattle's fog-shrouded mornings, the pull of family, a mother who baked sourdough and a brother lost to the streets. He was the brave one, Jordan said quietly, stacking a box with more care than necessary. I just follow orders. Alex shared fragments of Texas, dusty rodeos, his mother's tamales that could mend any heartbreak, the weight of expectations that sent him running to enlist. Omission was his armor. He never mentioned the boys who'd made his pulse race or the shame that followed. By shift's end, the depot felt less like a cage and more like a confessional. Jordan paused at the door, turning back with that piercing gaze. You're not like the others, Alex. You've got fire. Don't let this place snuff it. The words hung, heavy with subtext, and Alex nodded, throat tight. As Jordan vanished into the downpour, Alex touched the spot on his shoulder where those hands had been, wondering if salvation could wear fatigues. Weeks blurred into a rhythm of drills and downtime, but Jordan became a constant. Casual check-ins in the mess hall, shared smokes behind the motor pool, late-night texts about nothing and everything. Alex told himself it was friendship, the kind soldiers forged in foxholes. Jordan's stories painted him as steady, a rock who'd lost too much to crack easily. The ambush in Syria where he held his best friend's hand as life ebbed away, the discharge papers that followed, tainted by whispers of unfit. They said I hesitated, Jordan confessed one evening over lukewarm beers smuggled from the PX. Truth is, I couldn't let go. Alex's chest ached with the echo of it, his own secrets coiling tighter. He admired Jordan's quiet defiance, the way he mentored rookies without seeking credit, volunteered for the LGBTQ liaison role no one else touched. Benning had come far since repeal, but old ghosts lingered, slurs scratched into latrine walls, sidelong glances at the pride flag fluttering half-mast in the wind. Jordan wore his allyship like a badge, but Alex sensed depths unspoken, a mirror to his own hidden fractures. One crisp October afternoon, during a rare Liberty weekend, they hiked the trails edging the base, leaves crunching under combat boots. The air hummed with unspoken tension, the forest a cathedral of silence broken only by birdsong. At a clearing overlooking the river, Jordan stopped, his back to Alex, shoulders taut. You ever feel like you're fighting a war inside yourself? He asked, voice rough as gravel. Alex's heart stuttered. Every damn day. The admission slipped out, raw and unfiltered, and the world narrowed to the space between them. Jordan turned, his expression a storm of empathy and something fiercer, and in that suspended breath, Alex saw it. The same hunger, mirrored and magnified. Their first real touch came unbidden, Jordan's hand brushing Alex's as they descended the trail, fingers intertwining for a stolen second before pulling away. Electricity arced, undeniable, and Alex's world tilted. That night, in a borrowed truck parked on a forgotten access road, they talked until stars wheeled overhead. about fears that choked like barbed wire, dreams deferred by duty. No kisses, no crossings of lines, but the air thickened with possibility, a promise whispered in the dark. Yet dawn brought reality's bite. Monday's briefing hammered home the chain of command. Fraternization was a court-martial waiting to happen, ranks a chasm no bridge could span. Alex threw himself into training, scaling walls and fording streams with mechanical fury, but Jordan's texts glowed like beacons in his pocket. Coffee after? One read, innocuous but loaded. Alex deleted it, then fished it back, heart a traitor. The first crack appeared at the unit's Halloween mixer, a forced morale booster in the rec hall strung with cobwebs and caution tape. Alex arrived late, nursing a soda, when laughter erupted from the corner. Jordan stood at the center, arms slung around a wiry captain named Ellis, their heads bent in easy camaraderie. Ellis, out and unapologetic, with a rainbow pin glinting on his lapel, clapped Jordan's back as they swapped stories. Jealousy, sharp as shrapnel, twisted in Alex's gut. Who was this guy to Jordan? The easy touch, the shared glances, it mirrored what Alex craved, and the exclusion burned. He slipped out early, rain slicking the pavement, mind a whirlwind. Was it all in his head? Jordan's concern, the lingering looks? Back in barracks, he punched his locker until knuckles split, the pain a welcome distraction. Sleep evaded him, chased by visions of rejection, of losing the one person who'd made the army feel like home. Jordan found him at dawn PT, drenched and distant on the track. Talk to me, he urged, falling into step, breath fogging the chill air. Alex's resolve crumbled under that gaze, words tumbling out in a rush. The mixer, the fear, the ache of wanting what he couldn't name. Jordan stopped, pulling him into the shadow of the bleachers, close enough for warmth to seep through damp shirts. Ellis is a friend, Alex. Nothing more. But you're the one keeping me up at night. The confession hung, a lifeline tossed into turbulent waters. Alex's breath caught, vulnerability cracking his facade. I'm scared, Jordan. Of this. Of me. Jordan's hand cupped his jaw, thumb tracing the line of stubble, a touch both tender and igniting. Then we'll be scared together. Their foreheads touched, breaths mingling, the world fading to the beat of two hearts sinking in defiance. But Benning's undercurrents ran deep. Sergeant Reyes, with his Bible-thumping sermons and sidelong glares at the Pride events, had noticed the shifts, the way Jordan lingered near Alex's squad, the shared lunches that stretched too long. Whispers slithered through the ranks. Hale's got a soft spot for the new blood. Watch your six, Rivera. Alex dismissed them as barracks bullshit, but doubt seeded like kudzu. November brought maneuvers, a grueling field exercise in the piney woods where fog clung like regret. Alex's platoon pushed through mud-slick trails, packs heavy as guilt. Jordan's medical team shadowed, tents pitched in hasty clusters. One night, under a canopy of stars pierced by flare light, they stole moments, a brush of hands over maps, eyes meeting across the fire. It was enough to sustain, a fragile flame against the cold. Then came the ambush simulation, a scripted chaos of blanks and smoke. Alex's team hit the objective hard, but in the melee, a wounded call pulled him low. Jordan crawled through the underbrush, face smeared with camo paint, securing the scene with practiced efficiency. As he applied a mock tourniquet, their eyes locked, the world narrowing to that point of contact. Got you, Jordan murmured, voice laced with double meaning. Alex's reply died unspoken as Reyes barked orders, shattering the spell. Post-exercise debriefs were brutal, Reyes tearing into lapses with the precision of a bayonet. His gaze lingered on Alex, heavy with implication. Distractions kill, private. Keep your head in the game, or you'll end up like Hale's ghosts. The warning landed like a gut punch, and Alex spent the night pacing, paranoia a live thing gnawing at his edges. Jordan sensed the shift, confronting him in the empty mess hall at midnight. What's eating you? He pressed, voice low. Alex unloaded. The whispers, the fear of exposure, the terror that their spark would torch everything. Jordan listened, then pulled him close, arms a bulwark against the storm. We're careful. We're worth it. The embrace was chaste, but the press of bodies spoke volumes, a vow sealed in silence. Thanksgiving loomed, a brief furlough that promised escape and dread. Alex flew home to Texas, the dry air aslap after George's embrace. His family gathered around a table groaning with turkey and tension, Poppy's stern prayers, Mama's probing eyes, Maria's knowing smile. "You look different, hermano," she whispered over pie, her hand squeezing his. "Happy?" He nodded, but the lie soured, Jordan's absence a hollow in his chest. Back at base, Jordan waited with a care package, Seattle coffee beans, and a dog-eared copy of Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass, inscribed, "For the fire that won't be quenched." Alex devoured it in secret, the verses a balm to his soul. Their reconnection was feverish, stolen runs along the river, coded texts that danced around desire. But Reyes' shadow lengthened. He cornered Alex after a ranged session, breath hot with cores. "I see how Hale looks at you, boy. Army don't need that fairy tale shit ruining good men." The slur hit like a roundhouse, Alex's fists clenching. "With respect, Sergeant, mind your lane." Reyes' laugh was ugly, a promise of reckoning. Alex reported it obliquely to his CO, but the system chewed and spat. Investigations took time, and time was a luxury they didn't have. December's chill bit deep as the unit prepped for holiday rotations. Jordan invited Alex to a low-key gathering at his off-base apartment, a rare oasis of normalcy with string lights and takeout Thai. A handful of trusted souls showed, Ellis with his sharp wit, a few other officers nursing beers and banter. For hours, Alex relaxed, the laughter a shield against the world's edges. Jordan's knee pressed against his under the table, a secret Morse code of affection. But midway through, Ellis pulled Jordan aside, their heads bent in urgent conference. Alex watched from across the room, unease coiling. When Jordan returned, his smile was strained. "Everything good?" Alex asked later, as they washed dishes side by side. Jordan hesitated, then sighed. "Ellis thinks Reyes is building a case. Anonymous tips to the IG about inappropriate conduct. We need to cool it, Alex. Just for a bit." The words landed like frost, freezing the warmth they'd built. Alex nodded, throat burning, but inside, panic roared. Cooling it meant surviving without the one light in his darkness. That night, driving back in silence, the distance yawned, a chasm widened by fear. The fallout was swift and silent. Jordan buried himself in shifts, Alex in drills, their paths crossing only in obligatory briefings. Texts dwindled to logistics, eyes averted in passing. Alex's performance slipped. A missed signal during patrol earned him extra duty, Reyes' smirk a victor's gleam. Nights blurred into insomnia, Whitman's words mocking from the page. "I am he that walks with the tender and growing night." Christmas Eve brought a blizzard, rare for Georgia, blanketing the base in white isolation. Alex volunteered for gate watch, preferring the cold bite to family echoes on the line. Footsteps crunched behind him as midnight tolled, and there was Jordan, bundled in a parka, 2 thermoses in hand. "Couldn't let you freeze alone," he said, voice rough with unsaid things. They shared the shelter, steam rising from cocoa, the world muffled beyond the snow. Words poured then, fears of loss, the ache of restraint, dreams of a life unyoked from ranks. "I love you," Jordan whispered, the confession a grenade in the quiet. Alex's heart seized, then soared. "I love you too. God, Jordan, I have since that wreck." Their lips met then, tentative at first, then fierce, a dam breaking after months of pressure. It was soft, profound, a sealing of souls amid the storm. No further, just the press of promise, enough to rewrite the stars. But dawn's light brought reckoning. Reyes waited at formation, eyes narrowed at the flush on Alex's cheeks. "Rivera, my office." Now, the summons was a trap sprung, accusations flying, witnessed indecencies, morale threats, the Army's honor at stake. Alex stood tall, denying nothing in his heart, but everything aloud, the lie a shield for them both. Jordan burst in mid-tirade, face thunderous. "Stand down, Sergeant. This is baseless harassment." The confrontation escalated, voices clashing like rounds, until MPs hauled Reyes away for the slurs he'd spewed. But the damage rippled, investigation loomed, careers teetered. In the aftermath, Alex and Jordan faced the brass together, hands brushing under the table, united. Testimonies from Ellis and others painted Reyes as the bigot, the probe flipping to his misconduct. Clearance came on New Year's Eve, a quiet vindication amid fireworks bursting over the river. Yet victory tasted bittersweet. Jordan's rotation orders arrived. Transfer to Fort Bragg, a promotion laced with goodbye. Alex's re-enlistment loomed, a crossroads of duty and heart. "Come with me," Jordan urged one last night. Tangled in sheets of whispered plans, their bodies close but chaste, intimacy woven in words and warmth. Alex wavered, the pull of home, family, the known life clashing with this wild, true one. A call from Maria tipped the scale. "Poppy's sick, Alex. He needs you. But be you, Mijo. That's what we need most." The words unlocked something, a bridge between worlds. He chose them both, re-enlisting with a transfer request to Bragg, approved on the strength of his record and Jordan's quiet advocacy. Farewells at Benning were tear-streaked, promises etched in the red clay. "No rule restrains this," Jordan said, kissing him fierce under the Georgia pines. Months later, at Bragg, they built a life in stolen seams, shared apartments off base, weekend hikes in the Carolinas, family dinners where Alex's truths unfolded slow and steady. Poppy's illness forged unlikely bonds, his gruff acceptance a miracle born of love's persistence. Prejudices cracked, not shattered overnight, but enough for light to seep through. One spring evening, as dogwoods bloomed pink against the sky, Jordan knelt in their tiny backyard, a simple band glinting in his palm. "Marry me, Alex. Let's make our own rules." Tears blurred the yes, a vow that echoed from that fateful wreck to this defiant dawn. In the heart of America's proving grounds, two men had rewritten the code, not with rebellion, but with the unyielding force of hearts unbound. Love, it turned out, was the fiercest command of all.